Hello, my beautiful beings of light. So, a couple months ago, I posted 3 different videos on Instagram about the 3 phases of spiritual evolution. Well, I felt you YouTube people needed to know about it too. So I took the 3 videos, I condensed them into one, and I am posting it here for you right now. So enjoy, let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe below. See you. Hello, my beautiful beings of light. So I believe there are 3 phases that we go through when we are spiritually and emotionally healing. Phase 1 is self-awareness. Phase 2 is healing action. And phase 3 is soul deep happy living. So phase 1 is what I'm going to talk about today. Phase 1 is self-awareness. When you are trying to change your current situation, right? Change your current environment, whatever that may be, whether it is emotionally or just physically where you're at, it all starts inside, right? How your outside is reflected is very much dependent on how you are talking to yourself inside. So it consists of having that self-awareness. How are you self-aware of your thoughts and of your feelings? And to acknowledge, that's how they say in AA, where you have to admit that you have a problem. That is the first step in self-awareness. I don't like saying steps when we're talking about spiritual and emotional evolution of sorts, because we all kind of falter in our progress, right? So I like to call it a phase, because then you can make as many missteps as you want as long as you keep moving through the phase, right? So the phase of self-awareness, first off, is admitting that you even have the issues. The worst thing that you can do is to just continue to complain about where you are in your life. Okay, fine, you're complaining about what's happening in your life, but why is that happening? Why do you feel the certain things that come up? Pay attention to the triggers that happen in your life. What instantly gets you upset and angry, what situation? What if somebody says something and it instantly makes you upset, or anything like that? Those are going to be your indicators of how you can be self-aware. Like, okay, you get into a disagreement with somebody, right? Everybody is a reflection of who you are, or rather of your thoughts. So if you're in an interaction with somebody and they say something and it really triggers you and you instantly get a feeling of it, then question why is that? Because each person that comes into our life is a lesson to help us grow and evolve. But first you have to have that self-awareness. How are your actions showing up for the people around you? I talk a lot about feminine and masculine energy. That's what I teach. And self-awareness is the first step in learning how to balance that energy. For instance, if you very much like to have control all the time and you don't like changing, that means you're very heavy in your masculine energy, right? But the self-awareness comes in with, why am I that heavy in that? Tracing it back. A lot of it can sometimes have to do with ancestral trauma. Your parents taught you that, or you witnessed a parental figure do that, or their grandparents, whatever the case may be, right? Sometimes it's generationally taught down, whatever your triggers are, right? So it's having self-awareness and admitting that you have a problem, I think the hardest thing for people is to admit that they need help, especially depending on gender, socioeconomic, the culture you grew up in, can either make it easier or harder to admit that you need help, because everybody needs help. And you have to be really self-aware when you're falling apart, when you feel like, oh my gosh, I just feel whatever you're feeling, right? Whatever is making you feel fucking crappy about your life, whatever that is, to be able to identify that feeling is phase 1. That is your self-awareness. And once you become aware of self, aware of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, then you can start to move into phase 2, which is healing action. But phase 1 is the most important, and I want to say one of the hardest, because it's really admitting that it's not everybody else's fault why your life is the way it is, why you're feeling the way you are. It's not everybody else's fault. You have to look inward and as well and be like, depending on the situation, why am I letting these things happen to me? Why am I feeling that way? Why do I act that way to certain people? Have numerous people said something about me that's like, okay, so you never want to listen to what, if people are talking shit about you, right? But is there something that your friends say that's a common thing that all your friends say about you, right? That may be a clue as to something you need to work on within yourself, right? If numerous people in your life are almost saying the exact same judgment of you, this is not to say that you should worry about other people's opinions, but definitely when they say something, pick and discard whether you believe it or not. Like, you just listen to it, be like, okay, I hear you. And then feel within your spirit, does that feel right to me or not? Do I instantly get upset by that? You know, how does that make me feel? So being self-aware, also by being self-aware when you're in phase one, it kind of takes you out of your emotions of a situation. So you're kind of, you don't react as quickly as you would otherwise. Does that make sense? So when you're more aware of your emotions and aware of self, you're not quick to jump back into an argument or anything like that, because you've stopped and you're like, well, now why did what they say make me feel that way, right? So phase one of your healing is going to be self-awareness. So really take the time moving forward and think of your thoughts and of your feelings, and accepting that you need help, right? Because we all need help. Don't hold it all inside. I can tell you that. Holding it all inside is just not at all healthy and will definitely not get you to phase two. So make sure to be aware of your feelings, be aware of your actions, be aware of your speech to others and to yourself, and start really taking note of that, taking note of yourself and being aware of that and accepting that you need help. Because that's, I think, the most important thing, is to first accept that you need help and be self-aware of that. And once you do that, once you start slowing down and taking note of your thoughts and your feelings, then you slowly begin to go into phase two, which is healing action. And I will talk about phase two in the next couple days, so that you can follow me as I tell you the 3 phases to help you in your life. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is releasing a new program that I'm super fucking amped about. I think it's going to be great. It's all about understanding feminine and masculine energy and how that works with you becoming self-aware in your thoughts, in your actions, how to shape your life and create balance the way that you want to. It's so much content, and it's only $20, and I'm so excited about it. So I'm, oh my gosh, there's gonna be workbooks and audios and videos, and it's so great. And I'm offering it so at such an affordable rate, but I believe that numerous people, everybody needs to have access to this. So, all that to say, it will be coming out soon. So if you want to know when exactly it is, the people on my mailing list will be the first to know. So click on the link in the bio and join my mailing list. And I'll also be sharing different videos and stuff like that as well that you can follow along with. So you can join my mailing list. That's when you're going to find out first when the program is released. Other than that, you let me know, how have you become self-aware in your thoughts, and how do you feel you're doing in phase one? If you need to talk, I am here for you. I love you guys always, always. Bye. Hello, my beautiful beings of light. Today I will be talking about phase 2 of your spiritual and emotional evolution. If you didn't catch the first video that I did, I talk about how, for me, there are 3 phases in spiritual and emotional evolution. The first phase that I spoke about was self-awareness. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in my bio. And if you're watching this on Instagram, I'll put it also in my highlights, the link in my highlights, so that you'll be able to see the video that I spoke about, where I spoke about phase 1, which is self-awareness. Once you've got self-awareness, once you're aware of your thoughts and how you're showing up, then you're going to be moving on to phase 2, which is healing action. What that means is that, okay, now that you're aware of your thoughts and how you're showing up for people, how you're showing up for yourself in the world, now what actions are you going to take to heal that so that you can move forward into phase 3? healing actions can be anything. It's very signature to you, right? Because you're the one who, once you're aware of what you're going through, you're the one now who can be like, okay, what action can I take? So for me, one of my healing actions was to go into therapy. I've never done therapy before, but I realized I had gotten to a point in my life where I could no longer do it on my own. And it's interesting because I'll just be honest with you guys. I went through about a month ago, like I went through a depression. My anxiety got worse. I just all of the things that I used to do that would help me wasn't helping me. I felt like everything was all on me. And I didn't express that. And, I'm the one that always talks about, oh, we can't go through this life alone. And which is very true. You're supposed to be able to ask people for help. But for me, when I was in that depressed state, I didn't want to tell anybody else because I felt guilty for putting all of that emotion and all of that fear, all of that anxiety onto another person. I felt guilty for sharing the burden because I knew that other person, that other friend of mine was going through their own shit. So there's this and it was interesting to recognize that about myself, to be aware that I was doing that. Because the problem then is that what I'm feeling just compounds on itself because I have no outlet. Because I felt guilt about talking to one of my friends because I knew my friends were going through something. So I was like, I feel guilty telling them all the emotions I'm feeling and putting that burden on them when they're already carrying their own burden, So it really gave me a perspective on how people who are truly depressed, like on a higher level, how they may feel, about not asking for help. All that to say, I did my own inner work where I was like, what action should I take? And I did end up sharing all of my shit with a friend of mine who really helped me understand the next steps that I should take in my own spiritual and emotional evolution. And one of those was therapy, is to ask somebody who I actually pay to unburden my problems to, so I no longer feel that guilt, so that guilt isn't there. I can literally go there and be like, blah, here are all my issues, fix me. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do now? How can we navigate this to kind of get me to the next level that I'm looking for? And there should never be any shame in that. There was a little bit of shame for me in feeling like, okay, I'm going to therapy, but I'm a life coach. How will anybody take me seriously if I'm a life coach in therapy? But every life coach has a life coach. And me working on myself, it only enriches what I teach other people. So, and the people that I work with are people who were me a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, me going through my evolution therefore gives me the power and the tools to help others go through their evolution, if that makes sense. So one of my healing actions was to go into therapy. Another one is to delve deeper into my faith, into my magic, into connecting to a higher source consistently. Because the thing is, when I was depressed, I wasn't motivated to do anything. I wasn't motivated to meditate. I wasn't motivated for anything. I mean, I really didn't even want to get out of my fucking bed. Or if I did, it would be to go to the couch and watch TV. Like, I wasn't motivated to do anything. I just felt so heavy and the anxiety was so bad. So it's like, I couldn't get there. So therapy has already really been a huge help for me. So that's a healing action for me. What healing action looks like for you could be something completely different. It could be you getting up to meditate and start taking time for yourself. It could be going to therapy. Honestly, I think everybody needs to do therapy in their life, just to help them for that very reason. And that maybe subconsciously you feel guilt about sharing your stuff with other people. Or you may have been programmed to think that if you ask for help, it makes you weak, which is not true at all. Asking for help only strengthens you because it helps you get clear on your purpose so that you can move forward into your brilliance, right? So healing action is a huge part of your evolution, and most people stay in phase 2 for a while, which is okay. It is okay to flow back and forth between phases. That's the whole point of evolving, right? But it's really this evolution that we go through. It's a dance. Sometimes phase one, I got locked down. I'm super self-aware. In fact, my therapist, the first session we had, she's like, it's amazing how self-aware you are of what you're going through. I was like, well, nada, I know my issues. Now I need help in just communicating them and going forward and finding ways to better handle them. So, phase one, I've got down. Phase two, that's the actions I'm continuously going through. And I've come such a long way, but now we're at the stage where, okay, I can no longer do this all on my own. So my healing action for myself is to go into therapy, and work through there. And then my next healing action, don't know what that will be, right? So it's New Year's Eve. So I'm going to take some time in a second to really meditate and figure out what I want to bring into for 2020. Do a little ritual of manifesting and all of that, and kind of get clear on that. Or start to get clear on it. Who knows what 2020 will bring me? But I do know that I will continue to do actions that will heal my wounded spirit, so to speak. Heal, not my entire spirit is wounded, but heal the parts of me that are wounded. The parts of that little girl that, need all the love and need all the attention. Those are the parts that I'm going to be working on, and that's the healing action. So for you, once you become self-aware, once you become aware of the issues that you're going through, things that you already know are your triggers, things that are like, okay, this is where I'm showing up in a wrong way, and this is what I need to work on. Once you've gone through that phase one and you're aware of your actions, you're aware of your thoughts and how they're affecting your day-to-day emotions, now think of what healing actions can I take from these realizations. So that's going to be phase two. So go ahead, keep aware for the next video that's going to be coming out, where I'm going to talk about phase three, which is living in your present purpose. So catch the video for phase one. Once again, if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm going to put it in the highlights so that you're able to just click on it and watch it on IGTV. Or you can just go to my IGTV, it's a mouthful, channel to watch it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it in the links for you to look and see. So thank you so much for joining me, for tapping in, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, my beautiful beings of light. I'm talking today about phase three of your spiritual and emotional evolution, which is living your present purpose. If you need to catch up, I spoke before about the first two phases. Phase one is self-awareness. Phase two is healing action. And today is phase three, living your present purpose. It means exactly what it is, right? It is, you've gone through the two phases. You're now in a place to where you're aware of your destructive thoughts. You've taken the healing action to work through them. And now you are literally living the purpose you were always meant to live in. You're walking through life, not using fear as an excuse anymore. And you're really just going for the things you want to go for, and knowing that if it doesn't work out, you'll learn the lesson and you'll continue. But you're living in the present, you're enjoying every moment, and you're living your present purpose. Now, keep in mind, it's okay if you're not there all the time. Not many people are. There are some people who, you probably see them on Instagram or around, who are fully have all their shit together. And every single minute of every single day, they're like, I'm living my best life. I'm, doing exactly what I want to do. No fear. I just go for it, which is fantastic. That's great. A lot of other people, though, they still struggle with those fears, those phase two moments, of what action can I take to heal that? Because the thing is, we're constantly working on how we can better ourselves, right? As we move through this world, we're constantly picking up. Once you've gone through phase one is the core, right? That self-awareness of being aware of when you hit one of your triggers. So when you hit one of your triggers, which people do let me explain this better. A lot of us don't realize sometimes how much shit we have to work through in our subconscious until certain situations pop up, and then it shows us, wow, that was a trigger. Let me dig deeper and figure out why, so I can continue to move forward living in my present purpose. So you see, it goes back and forth. You go back and forth through phase two and phase three. as you live your life. You identify, you're aware of the trigger. Obviously, that's always a thing. You're already out of phase one. You're already aware. You identify that trigger. You take the healing action to work through it. And then bam, you're in phase three again. The goal is to get to where you can go through the phases like that. You're aware of your thoughts. You take the healing action. You continue living your present purpose. Like the goal is to continue to do that and to do that without fear. A lot of times, when we find our triggers, we don't want to dig deeper to work through it. I think I had mentioned this in the previous video on phase two healing action. It takes a lot for us to decide, okay, yes, I know what my issue is. I know what my problem is, but I don't want to do the work to go through because it's a lot. It's emotional. It's messy. And it just takes a lot of work, right? To work through what it is. And so you have to be willing to do that. But once you're in that phase of living your present purpose, it's a beautiful thing. And don't judge yourself too harshly when you may slide back into phase two. As I said, the goal is to move through these phases quickly. So that you know, okay, I'm aware, I know my trigger, let me do the healing action to do it so I can go back to living my present purpose and doing what I need to do to fill my life with joy, to fill others people's lives with joy, etc., etc. So that is phase three. I hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm currently in phase two, which I'm glad to say. But once again, we always have those moments when we're in phase three and we're in the zone, right? Like when I'm with clients, phase three all the way. I'm like, this is my present purpose. I feel so fulfilled, and then it's easy to go back into phase two and be like, ooh, that was a trigger. Let me take the healing action, right? So once again, there's no wrong way to go on your spiritual healing journey. It is your journey. It is your way to heal. The point is that you keep moving forward on it. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't let any depression or anxiety or all the emotions that come up, don't let it stop you from continuing to move forward. You have to continue to move forward because I guarantee you, when you get to those moments of phase three, when you are living your present purpose, it is fucking magical. It's the best thing ever. So keep going through those phases, get good at it. And then, yeah, if you need me, you know where I am.